It is no longer news that Ghanaian midfielder Thomas Partey is the subject and a defendant in a charge of 5 counts of rape and 1 count of sexual assault relating to alleged incidents involving 3 women between 2021 and 2022. As a matter of fact, in July of 2025, the Met Police in the UK submitted an evidence file on Partey to the Crown Prosecution Service to assess possible criminal charges, and 6 months later, those charges were formalized. What is news at the moment, however, is that Thomas Partey will miss Ghana's opening Group L fixture against Panama in Toronto after his visa application was refused by the Canadian government. Now, it's not clear in specific terms the reason for this visa refusal, but reason would suggest that it must have to do with the criminal charges against him, and FIFA have also come out to say that it's not involved in the immigration processes of host countries, and that host governments ultimately determine who receives a visa and therefore who is admitted into their country. And this stands to reason as fair, but there is more that I want to draw attention to. Rape in itself is despicable. It's unspeakably evil. It's indefensible. It's irredeemably cruel. These words don't even cover how wicked, depraved, and nefarious the act is. And to the women and to the people who have suffered from this, nothing can make amends for it. And the world owes you justice, and we are sorry. But that said, what is a legal charge on the other hand? In simple terms, legally speaking, a charge is a formal statement issued by a prosecuting authority or a grand jury accusing a person of committing a specific crime. So a charge is a formalization of what remains an accusation until conviction is attained. As of this moment, notwithstanding the terrible things that is possible that Partey had done, he remains only an accused person on charges that he himself has pled not guilty to in court. Again, I say that while rape and sexual assault are unspeakably evil, presumption of innocence is in itself a cardinal principle in the dispensation of justice. Innocent until proven guilty is what we say all the time, and it is a legal doctrine that exists as an essential safeguard in the justice system in order to prevent the grave error of wrongful convictions and the miscarriage of justice. Before you come at me to perceived defense of the accused, it's important to state clearly that even on the Canadian government's website, where it addresses rules around visiting the country, it states that, quote, if you have committed or have been convicted of a crime, you may not be allowed into Canada, end of quote. Now, correct me if I'm wrong, but as of today, Partey has not been convicted by any court of law, meaning that according to the principle of law, which is also protected under Article 11 of the United Nations Declaration of Human Rights, Partey is innocent until he is proven guilty. Although the United States is under the microscope at the moment for their treatment of Omar Atan, the Somalian referee, it is on this grounds of the presumption of innocence until proven guilty that the United States has allowed Thomas Partey entry into its country, specifically Boston, where the Ghanaian side are based at the moment. And it is also the reason the Ghana Black Stars have him on their roster for the World Cup. I concede that many accused persons, and in this instance, accused persons charged with rape, have been found guilty subsequently, but there have also been others who were discharged and acquitted after cases against them weren't proved. One notable example of this in football or soccer is Benjamin Mendy of France and formerly of Manchester City, who now plays in Poland for Pogoń, charged with as much as 7 counts of rape in 2021, with many events happening in between. He was subsequently acquitted of all charges 2 years later in 2023, having been found not guilty. In summary, what I am saying is that rape and sexual assault are unspeakably egregious, and the world owes victims sympathy, empathy, and justice. On the other hand, too, presumption of innocence is cardinal to the appropriate dispensation of fairness and justice. If Partey's visa refusal is anchored on the charges against him, I do not think Canadian authorities have then abided by this principle of presumption of innocence, an act which, though aims to address a wrong, might be creating another wrong altogether. But these are just my thoughts and the limitations of it therein. But what do you think?